Only after her mother-in-law passed away in sorrow did Lily realize that the scholar she had secretly supported under the guise of a princess had ultimately been a misplaced trust. The country bride had journeyed thousands of miles with her mother-in-law to the capital, hoping to reunite with her husband, a newly passed imperial scholar. But as soon as they reached the mansion's gate, the servants mistook them for imposters and blocked their way. Without a word, they raised clubs to drive them away. Just as the blows were about to land, a lavishly dressed Mia suddenly appeared, shouting sternly to halt the servants' brutality. Lily hurriedly pulled her mother-in-law forward to explain, claiming she was the master's lawful wife. But upon hearing this, Mia sneered coldly, raising her hand to slap Lily across the face. The arrogant steward declared, "Were it not for the princess's favor, we'd have beaten you senseless long ago." Upon learning this woman was the minister's wife, Lily froze in disbelief. How could her husband Jack, after merely 3 years away, have taken a new wife in the capital? 3 years prior, she had abandoned her noble status as the eldest princess's consort to live in obscurity by his side, scrimping and saving to fund his studies for the imperial examinations. Back then, Jack had sworn by heaven and earth that she alone would occupy his heart for life. Naively, she believed she'd found true love, only to discover now she was nothing but a laughingstock. The mother-in-law, unable to tolerate the princess's arrogance, declared outright she would not recognize this marriage, never permitting her son to bring such a woman into the family. The princess flew into a rage at these words and slapped her mother-in-law across the face in retaliation. He refused to believe their identities and immediately ordered Lily imprisoned to teach them a lesson for offending the princess. Lily hastily produced a letter sent by Jack, claiming it proved his identity. Only then did the princess signal her servants to stop, but upon seeing the water-soaked envelope, she immediately sneered with disdain. She insisted the letter was forged, arguing the ink hadn't even dried yet. Lily suddenly recalled that when water was splashed on her earlier, the letter had unfortunately gotten wet too, causing the ink to bleed. But the princess refused to listen to any explanation, claiming the minister of ceremonies used only imperial jade ink and could not possibly be easily smudged by water. With that, she tore the letter to shreds before everyone, demanding they be punished for impersonating officials' relatives, as they were about to be dragged to prison. In desperation, Lily pulled out the jade pendant she wore close to her heart, claiming it was the token of recognition between her and her husband, Jack. Jack possessed an identical jade pendant, and someone in the mansion must have seen it. Sure enough, a sharp-eyed servant recognized it. It was identical to the one Jack always carried, but the princess suddenly grabbed a stick and knocked Lily to the ground, snatching the jade pendant from her grasp. Lily struggled and demanded to know why it was being stolen. The princess instead falsely accused them of theft, claiming the master had indeed lost a jade pendant recently, and its appearance in their possession was proof. She immediately ordered the servants to torture them for a confession. The grandmother, already frail and elderly, coughed up blood and collapsed from the brutal beating. Lily rushed forward, shielding her grandmother with her own body, only to be struck viciously on the back of the head with a club. She too lost consciousness. Just as they were about to be dragged away, the Minister of the Interior happened to return home from court. A maid attempted to alert him, but was struck unconscious from behind. The minister stepped through the gate to find servants scrubbing away bloodstains. The princess casually remarked that 3 imposters had just arrived, posing as his relatives, and had been sent to the authorities. The unsuspecting minister, far from growing suspicious, became even more enthusiastic about preparing for the wedding 3 days hence. He planned to host a banquet for all the capital's nobles, hoping to use this marriage to the princess to climb the social ladder. Little did he know that his mother, after enduring torture, had already breathed her last. In prison, Lily clutched her mother-in-law's cold body, weeping with heart-wrenching anguish. The impatient jailer ordered her to be quiet, reminding her that today was the counselor's joyous wedding day. Everyone else had gone to feast on the celebratory banquet, while he alone was cursed to guard the prison. Hearing that her husband was holding his wedding ceremony, Lily felt as if struck by lightning. Her mother-in-law had died unjustly, while the faithless man busied himself welcoming his new bride. Fury ignited within him. After bribing the guard with his last jewels, he dragged his mother-in-law's body, determined to seek justice at the wedding. Meanwhile, the princess remained unaware, as the minister had been detained by urgent affairs and would arrive half an hour late. She stood alone at the entrance greeting guests, when suddenly, paper offerings swirled through the air. Lily appeared at the wedding feast, pulling a cart. There, lying on the cart, was his mother-in-law's body. The princess turned pale with rage, rushing forward to strike out, only to be shoved aside by Lily. Lily turned to the assembled guests, exposing the princess's wicked deeds. Meanwhile, in his study, the secretary accidentally discovered the torn-up and taped-back family letter on his desk. After reading it, he realized his mother and wife had already arrived in the capital. He urgently questioned the servants about when the letter had been delivered. Learning it arrived 3 days prior, he suddenly recalled the servants' report that day of imposters posing as his family. Only then did he realize the so-called imposters were his own kin. At that moment, Lily stood at the wedding banquet, declaring to all present that today's purpose was solely to seek justice for her mother, brutally murdered at her own son's doorstep. Overhearing whispers about the incident nearby, the princess, fearing exposure, kicked Lily to the ground in a fit of rage and shame. She ordered the servants to execute her immediately. Several men rushed forward, wrapping a rope around Lily's neck. Just as she was about to suffocate, Jack finally arrived at the scene in a panic. Lily glared at Jack with fury, muttering, "So you finally show up for your mother's funeral?"